In this video, you will learn the key skill that differentiates junior data scientists from senior data scientists. Spoiler alert, you won't find it in Kaggle. Every aspiring data scientist that I talk to thinks their job starts when they are given two things, a data set and a clearly defined metric. But this is not what happens in real-world projects. Every data science project starts first from a business problem, and the first thing you need to do is to translate the business problem into a data science problem and then solve it. Let me guide you through an example. Imagine you're a data scientist working at Uber and your product manager comes to you and we want to decrease user churn by 5%, which means we want to reduce the rate at which people stop using our app. How can we do that using data science? The first thing is to throw down a set of hypotheses, things that might be happening that you need to understand. From this set of hypotheses, you need to identify the one that is actually happening and then decide what's the best technical solution for that. As an example, first hypothesis, maybe Lyft is offering better prices, so we have a pricing problem. How would you solve that? You could easily test it by sending personalized discounts in those areas where you observe a higher decrease in demand. Who should receive these discounts and how large should these discounts be? And for that, you can apply a little bit of machine learning to identify users that are likely experiencing that. And obviously, you would need to run an A/B test to make sure that your solution is really making a difference. Second hypothesis, maybe car waiting times are too long, so there are not enough cars to cover demand, so we have a supply problem. How would you solve that? The first thing, you should identify where and when do you have the supply problem, and then you would need to give drivers an extra incentive to go to those slots, and you could do that giving a price incentive. To solve that, you don't really need machine learning. You would visualize the data, understand geolocations where you have the problem, and then run a quick test where you send a small price incentive and see if you manage to decrease the gap between supply and demand. Third hypothesis, maybe we just have a technical problem in our app. Maybe in the latest update in our Android app, there's a bug. So the app works slower, our end users get tired, so they stop using Uber and use another service. How can you check that? You just need low-level data of our client apps. For example, memory consumption. If you break down memory consumption by app version and you see a spike, that's a problem. And how would you solve that? You would need to convince developers that we need to release a new version of the app. Understanding what's the problem that you need to solve to move the business metric that you wanted to move is essential. So ask the right questions, list hypotheses, and go one by one. Detect the one that holds and solve it using the technical tools that you already know. If you like these practical lectures on data science and machine learning, subscribe to my channel, Real World ML. See you soon, guys.